Hey YouTubers, so today we're back working on the boat and this is another maintenance thing, and what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be changing out the throttle cable and the shifter cable.
Alright, so as you can see right here, these are the old cables.
So the cable right here that goes to the throttle, it's just held on by a cotter pin. Pull the cotter pin out and that pops right off the throttle. And this one right here is the same one that's on the top part in that control box. The one that's on the bottom of the control box is the shifter cable, and that comes off the same way with a cotter pin. So once again, we have the throttle right here. We have the shifter cable right here. Right here, it should just be a little plate. So I just peeled this back right here, and it looks like there's a 10 millimeter bolt right here. And another 10 millimeter bolt right here. And let's see if there's anything else holding it. Nope, that comes right off. So that gets us a good look here. This just splits. And there's a little clip right here. And you should be able to pull this first one out. Now, we're going to need this piece right here to go on our other cable. So these replacement ones that I have don't have these ends, so I have to take them off, and I want them to be pretty similar to where these old ones were. Put this back on, the new one. It does look like there's a clamp here that we're going to have to remove. Let's see what size that is. It's another 10 millimeter bolt. So if you look down in here, there's a 10 millimeter bolt that has to come off there. If I can get to it. And there's something else holding it on. Looks like a bolt right here. A lot of times this is just what it is. It's looking at what's in the way and finding out what's holding it on. And usually when these things are unbolted, they'll come off real easy. So if there's something that's not coming off easy, instead of trying to force it, there's probably just something else that's holding it on. So there's a groove in there that sits on it, and the top throttle cable sits in that groove. And we can separate that. And as you can see, this is in pretty rough shape. So I'm going to remove the old one.
So the video camera's been acting up, so I don't know how well some of this came out, but these are the old cables. And you'll notice right where my index finger is pointing, there's a little groove in this piece of metal.
And this end's going to be our shifting cable. I'm going to feed it through here. Lay it down on top. Cotter pin back in. Going to reattach Take the new throttle cable, again feed it between this. Has a little clamp right there for it to go into.
It's kind of like a puzzle.
So again, on the new one, just like the old one, the size of it is written here in white. And so we're going to keep those in the boat end. Alright, so every shifter and how you have to get it's going to be a little bit different. If you have any type of compartment that is underneath your shifter, always remove that first. Now, one thing that is important about this, looks like I have a lot of ants in there, on these cables themselves, you probably can't see in the video, but it does say on them in white lettering what kind of cables they are as far as how many feet they are. Now, if it doesn't have that, then you're going to have to measure out yourself. And with these, both cables are pretty much exactly the same, and the ends of them are still the same. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to remove these ends and put them on my new replacement cables, because the new replacement cables I got did not come with these ends. So the shifter cable is the one on the bottom, so we're going to remove that here on this end first. Helps have a small screwdriver. Save that clip. This lifts off, and it's sitting in that housing. You gotta save this little piece there, fits in the housing. And I'm gonna push through on the other side, and as I'm pushing through, we're gonna pull this end here. So we're going to put the new throttle shift cable on there. This little C washer lock nut. And when I brought this up from the back side, I could actually use that as from the back side to push that black plastic screw through here to line that up. Now once I did that, I had to hold the back in and put these 4 screws here that are attached to that control box. And part of the reason why I was able to remember where they were is because they have washers on them, and the washers left marks on the things for the holes, and they just happen to all line up. So in the future, you know, record what you're doing when you're taking things apart, so remember to put them back together, especially where it's been a couple of days since I took this apart. I sometimes forget after a couple of days. And the reason why I took this apart first is so I could find out what I needed for cables. This clip just goes back on here.
And if you peek right through here, back out a little bit, you'll see there's just 2 holes there for these screws to go into. Make sure you have that lanyard installed. And then you have this get up right here. This right here is what you're going to press to put it in neutral. And that's just a cap for it.
Okay, so we have the boat in the water, and it started right up, which is always a good sign because it tells me I was in neutral. So, shifting first into drive, it clicked right into drive position. So we're going forward now, putting it back in neutral. It cut back in neutral. I'm gonna go in reverse. It shifted into reverse. Give it a little bit of gas throttle. Throttle seems to be working just fine in reverse. So one of the other things I want to check before I go out is inside the gearbox is a neutral safety switch, and that makes it so you can rev the engine while not being in gear. Now that might have shifted or moved or whatever. I really didn't pay too much attention to it when I was putting it back together, so when I press this in, I should be in neutral. I should be able to rev it up without going anywhere. We're gonna see what I get for speeds. I normally top out around 47 to 51 miles an hour. So we'll see how we do today. That'll tell me if I still can go full throttle. The parts were $84. It was $42 for each cable. So I'd probably say about $280 worth of labor saved, and the taxes and stuff like that would have gone on top of it. So another do-it-yourself job, not too difficult, not very fun on a 95-degree day in the hot sun.